What's going on, everyone? We had some pretty big news in the market today on multiple different fronts. Bitcoin officially became the second largest commodity ETF in the United States. On top of that, Spirit Airlines is facing a whole lot of problems right now and is on the verge of going out of business. We have DraftKings, a stock that we've been talking about for a very long time, starting to shoot to the upside. And in this video, we're going to talk about all the top setups and predictions for the market tomorrow. We have 1 day left to the week, so let's make it count. With that being said, Tom, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, the market today overall was fairly choppy, but I would say end of day is where those opportunities really came in. We saw the SPY start to shoot up, and honestly today it was a pretty good day. Like Nvidia made new all-time highs this morning. We saw Microsoft popping off too. They actually had a great close here, end of day, very close to their pre-market high. So this might be a watcher for tomorrow. They're getting close to that $400 mark now. Microsoft's really starting to go, and that market is following along. We're back up to 477, and if we zoom out on a 15-minute chart, you can see that we're still in the chop zone. So we have to be very careful of these overhead resistances at 477 and then 478.50. Honestly, anywhere between here. There's been so much hits and chop lately that I feel like the market could reject there anytime, but for tomorrow, Mike, the big watcher for me is going to be the big tech stocks. You know, we have to really make sure that these are continuing to run because it looks like that market's getting very close to that all-time high again.
Exactly, but like you said, Tom, we're still in the chop zone, so you can't celebrate just yet because there is a lot of resistance overhead, and, you know, the bulls still have a little bit more work to do if they do want a brand new all-time high on the S&P 500. So keep that in mind. But on a different note, Bitcoin had a pretty big accomplishment today, which a lot of people have been waiting a long time for, as Bitcoin officially became the second largest commodity ETF in the United States. They surpassed silver, and now the next one on the list is gold. But either way, you know, as we saw those Bitcoin ETFs release recently, there have been a ton of inflows related to Bitcoin. And while Bitcoin has been selling off a little bit, the fact that these ETFs officially came onto the market and have seen the level of volume that we're currently seeing is a pretty big accomplishment nonetheless.
Yeah, and Mike, like, let's say people out there are wondering, well, what are the best ETFs to play? Like, what are your favorite two out there?
Honestly, I'll go with IBIT, which is like the iShares version, and then there's GBTC. A lot of the Bitcoin ETFs move in very similar ways, but these two are the most liquid, and that's where the money's flowing.
Yeah, exactly. And I know I was talking about HODL. I was hoping that they would actually be pretty good, but like today overall, they only had like 200,000 volume. You go over to IBIT, which had like 16 million, and then GBTC had even more. So yeah, those two stocks are definitely the ones that I would look at on the ETF list, and those would be my favorites to play. And it does kind of suck to see Bitcoin selling off. I know that's going to be a little bit negative for a lot of people. Some people might be trying to buy up those ETFs, but it's staying true right now, Mike, that buy the rumors, sell the news type of event is kind of what's playing out here. And I don't know how much Bitcoin's going to dip down here, but realistically, it's not fallen that much. It's just right down around recent support. I think this $4,000 support might actually hold up here over the next couple days.
All right, good stuff. Now, Tom, one stock that a bunch of people have been looking at lately is ticker symbol SAVE, and that is Spirit Airlines. And basically, this is a crazy story here, but Tom, go to like a daily chart really quickly because we have to show the sheer magnitude of how much this stock dropped by. Just over like the past couple weeks alone, this stock has been taken to the woodshed, and the past like week or so has been the absolute worst. Basically, they were supposed to be sold to JetBlue, and then out of nowhere, a federal court decision basically said, I don't think so, and blocked the sale, and now Spirit Airlines is potentially going to go bankrupt. Like, it's not for sure just yet, but while we have all of that crazy news going on, we had Dave Portnoy, like, loading up on this stock, and then, like, 20 minutes later, the stock just tanked even more. But to be fair, it did end up coming back a little bit. But long story short, everyone's talking about Spirit Airlines right now, and not in a good way.
That was actually hilarious. I could not believe that Dave Portnoy announced at 11:55 he bought Spirit Airlines. Then literally just a couple minutes later, within 2 minutes, the thing tanks down and then starts recovering back up. Like, Mike, did he have some info or something on this? Like, you gotta question it, because that is like very, very close to this event. Now, I will say initially it didn't go his way, right? That was looking probably pretty scary. Hopefully he didn't sell down there. I doubt he did. He's been riding Save quite a bit lately, but that was quite the recovery, and that is a very weird story. You don't hear that every day where somebody like Dave Portnoy buys in and then literally a minute later the stock tanks 25%. That's some bad luck if I've ever seen it.
Seriously. And Tom, I'll tell you this. I was looking online, like on Twitter and everywhere else, about this whole buy the dip in Spirit Airlines situation with Dave Portnoy, and he was getting flamed, like on Reddit, on Twitter, like, just getting absolutely roasted as he bought the stock. And then a couple minutes later, it, falls quicker than anything else. And then later on in the day, as the stock was moving up, Dave Portnoy made this like hype video about Spirit Airlines. I have never seen anyone do that in my life. Like, Tom, imagine you're bullish on a stock and then like you're so bullish where you make like a hype video about like how this stock is just so awesome and about how it's going to go up. Like, I was dying. I'll attach it in the comments down below for everyone to watch it. It's hilarious, but that's the funny stock news of the day.
Yeah, poor Portnoy, right? That is so weird and just such a weird situation. And let me know in the comments how you guys feel about Spirit Airlines. Do you think it'll be a good airline to come back? This situation made other airlines blast up, like Southwest. Look at that move today. I guess the competition's going to get taken out.
Yeah, these other airline stocks have been moving in a pretty big way off of this news. So keep a close eye on like Southwest, Delta, United, and stocks like that, as they've definitely been running in a pretty big way. But on another note, Tom, some other stocks that are starting to move up are some of these online gaming stocks like DraftKings. And this is a company that we've been talking about in a pretty bullish way for a while now. And it had around a 7% up day, and the gap up was amazing this morning.
It really was, and DraftKings is moving for a multitude of reasons, and I didn't really see like one specific reason as of why it would be gapping up like this today. Like, there wasn't any big like agreements or anything like that I saw, but whenever we go back here, they actually launched in Vermont on January 11th, and it just continues to show that every year, there's more and more states coming into the online gaming marketplace, and I think that DraftKings is doing a great job capturing that market share. They're catching up to FanDuel, and 2024 is actually set to be one of DraftKings' best years. But I will say there's one big negative with DraftKings here. Oh, our best friend over here, Kramer, said he's actually going to he sees a buying opportunity with DraftKings.
Oh,
so
no.
I don't know what to say, Mike. Like, I love DraftKings, but now Kramer says to buy it. I usually inverse him, and then now we got Kathy Wood selling out of it. So I'm like, well, what do I do here? I inverse both these people, and they're kind of going opposite on each other.
Exactly. Yeah, this is one of those situations where it's like, what do you do? Seriously. Like, normally it's as simple as like find out what Kramer's doing and then just do the exact opposite, and it works almost every time. But this situation's a little bit different here. But yeah, either way, keep a close eye on DraftKings. It's definitely moving with some solid momentum, and lots of volume is also flowing into this one. And it's getting closer and closer to that recent high of around like $39.30 or so. So keep a close eye on it, because when this one runs, it does normally run for like a couple weeks.
Yeah, it does, and it's been running for a while now, too. Like, in the grand scheme of things, it's been following this awesome trend up. It seems like it never really breaks below this trend too often, and it's just been a nice, steady, like, stair-step pattern to the upside. And, just so everybody's aware, I'm going to keep holding some of my DraftKings shares, of course. Like, we're not going to be getting out here just because Kramer or somebody like that said something. But it does worry me, though. I'll say that. It definitely has me shaking in my boots a little bit.
The kiss of death. Jim Kramer giving a buy signal. But anyways, though, Tom, we do have a couple other things on the schedule for tomorrow, but they're not too crazy. We have a couple stocks reporting earnings, and, really there's no no big stocks reporting earnings, so we can kind of skip on to the next part of the video, which is the economic schedule. And again, nothing too crazy will be reported besides like the Michigan consumer sentiment reading, which will come out around 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is 30 minutes after the market opens.
Yeah, and then besides that, there's a couple Fed speakers. Every once in a while they might say something crazy, maybe not. It just depends, I guess, on what they said in their backroom meetings, right? On how they're going to try to manipulate things. But either way, keep this stuff on the radar for tomorrow, Mike. And, with all this going on, it's been fun just focusing on price action because it allows us to get into some of these stocks that are moving huge lately, like AMD, NVIDIA, DraftKings, even some of these airlines like Love today. Like, there's been a lot of great opportunities out there, and it's been awesome. Even like while the SPY chops, there's been so many fun stocks to play lately.
No doubt. And one stock that I'm watching pretty closely is PayPal. And basically the CEO of PayPal has been really hyping the company up lately and saying that they're going to shock the world pretty soon. And the stock has been moving in a pretty good way over the past 2 days. But in the grand scheme of things, this company is super oversold. They're starting to get some good bullish short-term price action, which is great. And like I said, the short-term price action has been pretty solid. So I'm going to continue to watch this one to the upside. In the past, we've seen situations where when PayPal does get that good bullish momentum, it can last for like 4 to 5 trading days at a time, and in certain instances, even longer. So there's potential for this setup to pan out like that, but ultimately it depends on how much PayPal truly does, quote-unquote, shock the world pretty soon.
Yeah, I would hope that CEO is being truthful in that statement, and I think that they might be doing something. He only took over around 100 days ago, he said, so, he's been trying to work on a lot of stuff to get them back, and for all of our technical traders out there, it even looks like PayPal might be in a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. I'm going to circle the shoulders, put an X down here where the head is. Not usually my favorite pattern, but on longer term setups, sometimes it seems pretty fun, so I'll be watching this, Mike. I like the support bounce around 57 lately, up above 60. Definitely one of the hotter stocks today. A lot of people are asking about it. And another stock that people are asking about quite a bit was Disney as well. Disney started to run up around recent highs of the week. I'm going to be watching for them to continue up tomorrow. Again, in the grand scheme of things, this is a stock that's been very oversold lately. And even over the past few weeks and few months, it's been kind of dipping back. But I think this dip will be a great opportunity to buy Disney here back to the upside for a test of maybe 94 to 95 bucks over the next few days and even higher over the next few weeks. So I'm going to watch Disney for a bit of a recovery, and I think that as we start to see a bit of a rotation, I think Disney could just see more money start to flow in.
Sounds good. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely is GLD, and this basically follows gold prices. It had a good day today, but it is still it's still a good amount off of its recent highs. So anyways, I'm looking for a continuation of the price action we saw today. I would love to see a break above like 187.65 and then a just continued run with good consistent price action. Yeah, keep a close eye on this one going forward. GLD is not one of those stocks / ETFs that has, giant swings on a day-to-day basis. It's more so one of those stocks that'll, be much more consistent and just have, multiple, modestly green days in a row. But we need that price action to come in for there to be a real opportunity.
Yeah, and it can be a fun swing sometimes. And, if you buy in at the right time, some of those options can be very enticing on gold. Like, it seems like might not move, but then the options will have pretty good gains sometimes. So I'll definitely keep my eyes on that. And of course, I got to go with Zoom here. Over the past couple days, Zoom has been kind of double bottoming at this 66.50 support, and I'll be watching it tomorrow for a bounce back up off of this. It double bottomed here. You can maybe put a stop under like at 66.40. If you want to be really careful, maybe under 67, you could have a stop. And early on, if we see a good break above like 67.50, then you might be able to get into a good play, a good scalp early on tomorrow. So I'm going to watch Zoom for a bit of a pop back up. Again, I feel like that this recent dip on Zoom is a pretty good buying opportunity.
There we go. All right, well, it's now about that time for the momentum plays, and with the first one, we have MRVL to the upside.
Yeah, Marvel, a nice chip stock here, kind of bouncing off that 67.50 support. If they can get above the 68.65 resistance intraday, I'll go ahead and look at calls tomorrow. It's kind of like that high right before close.
All right. Then with the next one, we have DFS to the downside, which, to be honest with you, Tom, is kind of giving me some Spirit Airlines price action vibes.
It is. It had a bad earnings move here. It might fall under 96 tomorrow, and that's going to be the main area that I watch for is that 96 support. If we go out to a daily with DFS, I mean, that gap down looks pretty wild. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was at least a couple days of continuation.
All right, and then with the last one, we have TLT for both directions.
Yeah, like Old Faithful, right? TLT, I like this 93.50 support today. If they break under there, go ahead and look at puts. We gave a couple levels yesterday. Ended up moving pretty well to the downside here, so that was good. If it ends up breaking up above 94, then I'll eye up calls again, but it's been wild lately, Mike. TLT's been having some pretty fun intraday moves.
Sounds good. All right, well, we have the downside level for TLT and the upside level as well. Depending on which level it breaks is where the opportunity is. For example, if it breaks below support, we will look for it for a breakdown setup. And then if it breaks above the resistance, we will look at it for a potential breakout call setup. The same thing goes with DFS to the downside and then MRVL to the upside. But those are our three momentum plays of the day. So you guys know it's about that time for today's big money $1.236 million trade of the day. And we are looking at ticker symbol LUV, which is Southwest Airlines. And I think it's very interesting how we're seeing a big money trade with airlines today, given the recent situation with Spirit Airlines. Given the fact that Spirit Airlines is struggling a lot right now, that means other airlines have a lot to gain from that. And basically, the big money is sniffing that out and is looking to capitalize off of that potential setup. Long story short, the big money is bullish on Southwest, or LUV, and more specifically, they bought a call debit spread. So they bought the $32.50 strike calls and shorted the $37.50 strike calls, both of which that expire on March 15th of 2024. But if you want to make your life easy, you can just buy the $32.50 strike calls, and you'll have a very, very similar trade to the big money here. But either way, it doesn't look bad. The stock is moving in a pretty momentum-filled way, and as long as the current situation with all these airlines continues to play out in its expected way, then Southwest and a lot of the other airline stocks have a lot to gain from it.
Yeah, they really do. And, get ready for those Southwest tickets to go up because, they're losing competition on the cheaper airlines, and that might even help them too. They won't have to try to stay as close maybe to Spirit's prices. That's assuming, Spirit goes under. But either way, it's good for Southwest short term. I love the price action. It's up to $30. We're right around resistance, so if it can start to break here, that would be awesome. But I love the setup on the daily, Mike. I've been liking Southwest for a while. There was a nice COVID low. It bounced right there. I was actually buying in on that COVID low, and the shares have been doing great. So the more the merrier. I hope the airlines keep going up for my sake, but let's go. This big money play is pretty enticing, and even just the setup on the daily in general right now looks pretty bullish. Like the stock has just been consolidating, like almost on like a stair-step pattern where I think it could get to 32, 32.50 pretty easily. If we break this recent high, I mean, I would think 32 is definitely on the radar.
Exactly. So good stuff there. Keep a close eye on this one going forward. But with everything being said, Tom, I think we're set for a pretty action-packed end to the week between everything going on with these airline stocks, between the recent price action with DraftKings, and given the fact that the market is still super close to its all-time high, I think things are going to get pretty exciting pretty quickly.
Yeah, me too. I think they'll be pretty fun here. Watch out for the SPY. There's a lot of key resistances tomorrow. 477.50 and then 478.50 are going to be the main two levels I'm watching. I'm going to be careful at 478 as well, but you guys can see that main double top at 478.50 will be, I think, what's really on watch. If we break that, we're not far off from that all-time high, just under 480. So let's go. Let's see how the market does, and keep your eye on those tech stocks. If like Nvidia, Microsoft, and God forbid Apple, if they all start going up tomorrow, then we might start to see that SPY get a lot closer.
Exactly. And then one last thing that we have to talk about is the current positioning with NASDAQ futures. So basically, the NASDAQ net long positioning right now is close to a 5-year high, which basically means that, you know, we're seeing a lot of euphoria in the market right now, especially with big tech stocks. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of bullish pressure coming in, but at the same time, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of resistance overhead, and the job is not done yet. So don't get too caught up in the euphoria. Stay disciplined, keep your head up high, and let's end this week on a green note. Thanks for watching.